Snap. The DNN Ecosystem Advisory Group Awareness Meeting. Thank you for joining us, whether you're right here live or you're watching a recording. We really appreciate it. So far, our attendees include all the folks you see here on this slide. Wait, I misspelled somebody. There we go, Francisco. Sorry about that. Thank you for that red squiggly line. All right. What's that?
It's okay.
You're now Franciso. I hope you like your new name. So, as usual, our agenda for right now is review our goals and talk about our progress since the previous meeting and try to figure out how we can increase those goals for next month. And then, if necessary, review our long-term goals, and then we have an open forum to figure out anything else that we need to figure out. All right. So our primary individual goals, as always, is to try to champion or co-champion something. So that just means helping with something, whether you're the actual leader or you're helping to lead the effort just by participating. As always, do at least 2 things a month. Hopefully it's not too much to ask. And we want to generate a snowball effect. So everything that we do, we need to help other people know that they can do it too. And hopefully they can take some of the burden off of our backs. And then keep in constant contact, which we need to get better at for sure. So keep in constant contact, whether it's on Slack or otherwise, and it's not just amongst ourselves, it's also with the community. Our charge is with increasing awareness of DNN. And so we need to increase the communications we have, not just internally with our own group, but externally to other groups, and externally to the ecosystem overall, and externally to other ecosystems as well. So keep in constant contact. That's probably should be number 1 there. For the future meetings, we're going to put that as a number 1 priority. Boom. Keep in constant contact. All right. Champion updates. So we have these 2 items. I just moved to the end. So we're going to say, let's move these here to here. There we go. And then we're moving these to here. Perfect. Although that's not the exact order. So these are some of our areas. I'm just going to summarize them real quick so that way we save the time for when we actually go through it. So we have the user group program. So reviving the user group program as it existed on the DNN website. Increasing social activity, basically mentions of DNN and things that are happening with DNN. Increasing the number of blogs, not just within the DNN community website, but other websites that allow you to do blogs, as well as number of YouTube videos and tutorials. Again, it doesn't need to just be YouTube, just social networks that involve video. So increasing the number of DNN videos on these various websites. Creating training courses. Those could be on any platform, obviously. Let's see here. Creating a curriculum that can be used within various levels of school, so whether it's high school or higher learning. Ooh, we got Jay coming. Yay, let's update our thing here. There we go.
Hey, everyone.
Hello, Jay. We're just going through our where'd he go? There we go. We're just going through our, intro, basically. And then we're going to also talk about that's what happened. Sorry. .com and .org website, theme creation, community dashboard, and speaker programs. So new and updated extensions is increasing the number of extensions that exist out there that are open source. The .com and .org website, separating the two. The .org will be the community-generated one and community information-related one, resources, and so on. Making sure there's more open source themes out there that are using contemporary standards. Having a community dashboard out there that shows our activity and the health of the community and highlighting areas where we've had great growth and maybe highlighting areas where we need to work on. And then the speaker program. So that'll be something that's kind of associated with the user group program and but making it easier for speakers to find user groups and user groups to find speakers and speakers to find content and user groups to find content and share and so on and provide it. So, with no further ado, we're going to get through some of these. Increasing social activity, I think we kind of decided last week that we might not need a champion for this necessarily, but this is dependent upon what happens with the dashboard, if anything. All right, so we'll move on from that one for right now. So blogs. Are there any notable blogs that we need to make the group and or people watching this video aware of, so that way we can continue to push it? And are there any areas where we can increase the awareness of blogs? Any updates here? Wait, the DNN Docs website has a blog about DNN Docs website.
Yeah, it's just like a status update. It's on dnnsoftware.com.
So, Clint, would you mind giving people a summary of what DNN Docs is, just for those who aren't in the loop?
Yeah, you can open up the tab if you want to, but the summary is that the DNN Corp handed over the documentation center to the community, and so Kelly Ford is the DNN Docs team leader, and we have kind of a small core team behind, like, setting up infrastructure and getting it into a new place. So there's a lot of backstory into, like, what has happened, you know, the transformation, but ultimately the thing for the community to understand is that we, as the community, now own the Docs site. So, you know, just like I said in the comments, Will, both you and Tiho have made contributions this week. So, like, if you see something that you don't like, you can easily update it, right? And so we're really hoping that the community will kind of kick in here or jump in here and help us update the docs. And so this is all tied in with GitHub, so you can see, you know, the top contributors. That count is coming from GitHub there. And if you go to any page, you can see, like, people that have made updates and contributions to the page. So those updates, like getting that data from GitHub, David Poindexter really did some work over the weekend and the course of last week to make that happen. So this kind of mirrors Microsoft's documentation center. But just say, for example, you know, you look at this page right here and it's like DNN products, and you're like, well, that doesn't read right. I want to update this. You can easily click that improve the document button on the top right. It's going to send you over to GitHub. So you can, I'm getting some echo there. So you can update this directly in the browser in GitHub if you want to, or you can, you know, get it running locally, which we've, you know, got the guides out there so people can update these. So I mean, like, I'm able to update these, so it's not overly complex, right? It's just understanding a couple of GitHub commands and getting initially set up. So, you know, we're hoping that, and we're constantly updating this. Yeah, we're hoping people get involved. We had a meeting. We've got a weekly meeting where we, you know, continue the progress. But our hope is that, like, you know, if somebody asks a question on Facebook, that instead of, like, answering it on Facebook, someone, well, I mean, they would still answer it, but they would link to, like, hey, there's a DNN Docs thing about this, right? Yeah, so both Will and I had updated this page. But it really is just kind of like the platform, in the sense that it is the sum of all of our collective efforts, right? Francisco is also on the team, and he's kind of helping us with insight into, like, translation. So, like, right now, what you don't see is, like, it toggles for things like version and whether it's platform or evoke, and also language. So Francisco is going to help translate. So if you just want to read and translate, like that would be a contribution. It could be things as small as updating a typo or creating a totally new document. We talked yesterday in the meeting about having a guides section where it's kind of like step by step. So this is a living and breathing thing now. And what's awesome is when you make a pull request, the core team around the Docs project, which I think there are like 5 or 6 of us, obviously it notifies us, hey, a pull request has been made. Well, as soon as it gets reviewed and accepted, like merged in, that automatically, dynamically kicks off a build process, and then your changes are live on the site within 5 minutes. So that's not within 5 minutes of you submitting, but in 5 minutes of it getting accepted. So I'm kind of excited about it, and hope that the community will, really champion this, because if you look at any popular and successful product, things like, Twilio or Particle or Microsoft, all of their documentation systems are really awesome. And this is a way that we can help bring new people, newbies into the community by having awesome docs around the project. And so the themes, like I was emailing people this week saying like, hey, can you provide some code snippets and samples? So this, you can embed, code snippets. It's got syntax highlighting, and this is all using Markdown. So anyway, that's my pitch and the update. But Kelly lists a lot of milestones in the blog about this. So we're excited.
Clint, if I may, because this GitHub is especially common language for more tech people. So when you say, well, even I can do it, I feel a little bit of a pull because I'm still struggling a bit. Am I in my own echo? No. Can someone hear me or not?
Yeah, we can hear you. I mean, is there a question? You're just saying that you're struggling a little bit to understand the GitHub process?
Because, I think I would benefit from a little bit more help because I think I'm fighting a little bit of GitHub war. I'm very willing and able to make contributions, but the video that Will posted last week was very helpful, but I still need some more for my current issue and maybe even how to translate stuff like that. Is there any help that anyone that could assist later on this week or next week?
You talking about like somebody from our team or just somebody in general? I mean, I'm happy to connect with you I do not claim to be a GitHub guru or anything, but I'm happy to connect and walk through, what I do, and we can look at what you've got going on to try to help get you over the hurdle.
Yeah, I think if I could share my screen tomorrow or something like that, we'll be done in 10 or 15 minutes.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, send me an email and I will schedule a meeting and we'll see if we can help get you past. I mean, I'm the same way in the sense that, when I started looking at all this GitHub stuff, I'm like, man, what is this command line stuff? But, you can get past it. You maybe just need a little guidance. Like David Poindexter really helped me out. And so we'll work through it. Just send me an email and we'll try to get a meeting going.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Clint. I really appreciate that. And just on my side, from my perspective, this has been the coolest and best effort, in my opinion, historically for DNN in terms of getting documentation not only put out there, but in a way that anybody could technically be able to do it. It's just super, super powerful. So for anybody who's been participating and anybody that will, thank you so much. That's going to be amazingly huge in terms of, how it's going to help grow the ecosystem and empower the ecosystem.
And it'll give people a good opportunity when Will says, what have you done? You can say, well, I made 2 updates to DNN Docs. It doesn't matter if it's a typo. He won't know. You just say 2 updates.
Well, the typo's just as important as anything else. Yeah, so as far as another blog, you know, not really completely self-promotion, but Matt Rutledge, we just had a hangout with Matt Rutledge, so we restructured Ralph Williams and I, we restructured the DNN hangout to be more of an interview format and less of news, because Adderson does a fantastic job of news already, so there's no need to rehash the same thing. And so it's getting to know various people from the ecosystem and what they do and how they do it and how they came about it and all those things. And so if you'd like to be on the DNN Hangout, you know, do feel free to reach out. I'd love to have additional guests. We have some lined up, but we have no shortage of new guests needing to be on the show. So outside of that, I didn't see, like, everything else is like, looks like tag meeting updates and core module team updates. There's not really anything outside of that that's not already something we would already know. All right, so that's it for blogs for now. Videos and tutorials. So I had those two videos that I was just highlighting here that Clint or actually Tiho just mentioned. So there's two videos that I released over the past week. One of them is the 3 ways you can, ooh, hold on, that's an ugly URL. Let's do this instead. We'll just put the video in there. There we go. And so that's the 3 ways that you can contribute, 3 different ways you can contribute to DNN Docs. And then there's this other one where how you can just do a quick update. And so this video, like if you just need to add some text or if you need to fix a typo, this is fantastic. Like you can do that in minutes, literally. All you need is an account on GitHub and you can contribute to DNN Docs. It's super, super simple. This video is about 5 minutes. This one's about 20. But one goes through 3 different methods. And also one of the things that I want you to know is I didn't know what to do when I started doing the video. I just hit record and started recording, right? And so, you know, I'm not a mastermind here. I just figured it out, and that's the result is in that video. So I do encourage people to look at that. Anybody else have any video updates they'd like to put out here?
I got a couple.
Go ahead.
All right, the first one, Adderson put out some DNN news, so that's out there. And then there's a new video most people know about a vendor called EAG DNN. They put out a new thing called Block Builder, which is a way to, similar to a couple other people who have done this, but if you use their skins, their themes, you can build sections and add columns and things to your pages so that you're not relying on somebody's design of a theme where this section has 3 columns, the next section has 2 columns, the next section has 1 column, and you have to live within that. Now you can build your own. So EAG DNN has put a video out for that, which is nice, and they're pushing that product. I don't have a commercial put out, similar to the commercial that I did before. Last month, didn't get to it this month, sorry. But that's all I got.
Excellent. Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, I mean, except for not having a commercial. Jeez.
Sorry about that.
Anybody else have any videos that they want people to know about? I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a video you created, but if something else that we need everybody to be aware of. And by the way, this content and what we're talking about is not just for our information and whatnot, but this is also content that you can use. Like if you want to tweet about, like, oh my God, I didn't know this happened. Here's a tweet, or here, pushing this to a Facebook group, or what have you, or I'm going to build a blog around this. You know, feel free. Like this is free content in the world. So you know, part of this update is for you to know what you can also push out there in terms of awareness. All right. Oh, Mandeep. So Clint posted a video about the Mandeep's user group meeting where he talked about, what was it, live? What's it called? Live Visualizer. Oh, and it's available for download today.
Yeah, the beta released today, so in his email, he linked to the video where he walked through it.
I can't stop it. Okay, finally. There we go. All right. Sorry about that, Clint.
Live Visualizer is his commercial version of, or his answer to liquid content. Is that correct?
Clint?
Yeah, I responded in the chat. Yes, it's very similar to any structured content builder like, you know, I mean, you could say form and list, you could say open content, liquid content, too sexy. If you've used Mandeep's products before, he integrates live forms with live visualizer. Matter of fact, you can't use live visualizer unless you have live forms. So it's very similar to that, Don.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, looking at this, there's a lot of cool videos that some people might not know about. So if somebody's so inclined and to write a blog, thanks for coming, Scott. Yeah, you'll see an update coming soon. But if somebody's so inclined, like, you know, this is great content for somebody, like, hey, here's all the videos I've seen over the past, you know, month or whatever, things that I think you might find interesting. Like, that's a great post to put out there, just so you know. And if you don't have access to the DNN blog and that's where you want to put it, Clint can help you with that. Any other videos that anybody came across that the group should know about? Nope. Any tips on creating videos so that way people know how to, you know, what they need to do or what they can do, or videos that you wish you wanted to see out there?
No.
We have all we need.
Oh, we need more. Just drawing a blank at this very moment.
Yeah. All right. So we do have a Slack channel for that. So if anybody has ideas, like, put it out there, and if somebody has time, we can figure it out, right? Or at least we know, like, hey, I know somebody that does videos. Let me ask them. So, you know, part of awareness is letting people know that, like, we need this, right? So awareness has many different ways. It's not just pushing. It's also solicitation. All right.
As long as you're suggesting that. I did ask, and I haven't seen, but would love to see some examples of somebody who's doing a really good job with users, because I'd like to put users in a commercial. What I mean by that is I want to show that DNN is a great tool if you've got a bunch of people that need to log into your website for whatever reason. And if you can give me an example or two that I could highlight, that'd be great.
Does anybody have any off the top of your head? And if not, you know,
I might have one.
Later, put it into Slack.
The one that I come up with is to SIG related. So is there an opportunity for that, or do we just focus on DNN itself?
I mean, technically it's on DNN, so...
Yes, and that would be okay. And the last one that I did about Bell, the motorcycle helmet people, focused on the combination of DNN and hotcakes. So having a combination of DNN and Too Sexy would be just fine.
Yeah, because I was wondering how others, colleagues and other community members are using Too Sexy for creating customer portals. I mean, I know there are capabilities with Too Sexy and the forum, Mobius, to have registered users allow them to have their own links or their own profile picture, stuff like that. You could build a customer portal with that.
Awesome. Yeah, so feel free to connect with each other on Slack to, come up with some of those examples. And if anybody else has some that you come up with now or later, feel free to do that as well. And the channel for that is goals. Hey, John's coming in. There's a channel just called videos that we can use, that we use for that. But there's another one. It's goals tutorials that technically could be used as well. So it's up to you. Yeah. Where are we going? Okay. New and updated extension. So, John, do you happen to have an update for this at all?
No, I don't. I was busy guilting you into making videos about GitHub.
Well,
that was my one. That was the one thing I accomplished this past month, was screwing up GitHub bad enough for you to make a video about it.
Okay, yeah. So I didn't just. John's right. I didn't just make those DNN Docs videos just because. I was just like, John's having this much problem with this. Like let me see if I can figure this out and put this out there, because he's not going to be the first one and he's not going to be the last, right? So John is the reason I created these videos.
Well, we should ask John if he ever got it figured out, because if not, we might as well invite him to the meeting with
Oh yeah.
I did not get a chance to revisit that. I will try to. I've been having very late nights with work-related stuff, but I will try and squeeze that in. But yes, please invite me as well to that meeting, and I will see if I'll finish up the rest of the video that Will so kindly made for my benefit, because it's the least I could do. And I'll see if I can right the ship at all and can hopefully contribute something. I did get some sign-in. Otherwise, I did get some sign-off from my boss to help to get some resources in general with for my company with the DNN open source project in general. It's a matter of, unfortunately, also finding free time, non-company related time that I can get for my team to do that, and figuring out how exactly they can contribute. So there is something else I did accomplish to help to try and get my company involved with it. That's the other thing I managed to do, but I have to follow through and actually get them to do something.
Awesome. Do you happen to know what kind of resources? Are they development resources, testing resources, any specific types?
Documentation and maybe skinning.
Excellent. We need both of those for sure. And actually, both of those are some of the arguably maybe our weakest points. So.
Okay.
So that's perfect. That's outstanding news. What's this? Clint. Oh, there we go. So that's a good one for from Clint. So we'll put that in there. You can send that to your bosses as well.
Great.
Does anybody have any new or updated open source extensions of any kind that the group should know about?
I'll throw this out there. The structured content solution that I've been working on for the last month is getting close to being ready. I'm planning on showing it off at the next MVP meeting next week.
So for those people, Jay, that aren't in the other group, can you just tell them what you mean by that?
So basically, the structured content solution that I've been working on is going to be a community version of liquid content, essentially, is what I'm trying to create. And I've got the content creation piece is working great. I'm working on the visualization piece right now, which is basically how you surface that content onto the web page. And I'm hoping to have that done by next week so I can show it off at the MVP meeting. And the end goal here is that if we can get buy-in and get it feature complete, that it would become part of the core and replace liquid content, since that's never going to come down to platform.
I'm not sure replace liquid content is the right term, but yes, exactly. Yeah, that's a monumental effort, so thank you for putting time into that. Yeah. And so so any other updates from anybody else? Oh, well, actually, so Jay, are you looking for help for that? And if you are, how can somebody help you?
I definitely will be looking for help once I get it kind of stabilized. There's a couple pieces that are just flat out missing right now, like multi-language capabilities and things like that. So I actually could use some advice on the templating engine. Kind of struggling right now to figure out a good way to, do I want to implement something like the Liquid DLL, that the .liquid DLL that Liquid Content uses, or something else, Jekyll or whatever. So Razor pages, I don't know. Heard a lot of different ideas, so I'm kind of looking for advice on which way to go on that.
Excellent. And this is already on GitHub, isn't it?
It is not.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
No, I'm going to, I keep changing the code so rapidly that it wouldn't do much good. So I'm trying to get it a little bit more stable, where all the structure is kind of formalized, and the naming conventions and the database structure and stuff is more set in stone. And then I'll put it out there and people can start playing around with it, hopefully by next week. I mean, after I show it off next week at the MVP meeting, I'll want to put it out there and people can start looking at how I put it together.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Jay. Anybody else? So, I just put in here the goals extensions channel can be used for communicating more with, how maybe to help and whatnot. Anybody else have any additional extensions that they feel the group needs to know about? All right, moving on. The next thing is curriculum. Our folks that have been working on this are not in attendance. Champions, not in the meeting. Does anybody else happen to have a surprise update on this one? Going once, going twice. Sold. All right. Same thing with Tracy. Same thing with training. Tracy is not in the meeting today. So no updates for the training. And unless anybody else has an update, did anybody else surprisingly add some, so not surprisingly like it's a bad thing, but like we just didn't know about and you noticed training, or you have developed some training that the group needs to know about? All right. Same thing with themes. So we have some of the same people in a few different areas. Does anybody have any updates, though, in general for open source themes in any regard, whether it's a release or other things that could contribute to helping with releases or quality or anything else? No. Crickets. We don't have any theme developers in here? What's wrong with you? All right. Speaker program. We're in need of a champion here. So basically, for anything that has an effort, when we your first step, whoever that decides to lead it, your first step is to decide, like, okay, what's the plan to get from point A to point Z, and then it doesn't mean that you have to do everything. It just means that whenever there's an area that needs a champion, the first thing is to create a plan, and then from there we can figure out how to execute that plan and whether it needs phases or what have you. So if anybody's interested in the speaker program, this channel is Goals Speaker Program. And so you can chime in there. And user group program, we have an update on this, although the person that helped come up with the plan for this is not in here. So for those of you that don't know, I guess it's been 2-3 years ago at this point, David Poindexter and I, we kind of collaborated on like what the user group program should be when it's created, when it's put out there again. And we had a meeting, I guess, was it yesterday? Was that yesterday, the day before, to finally kind of figure out how to continue to move this forward. Because him and I both, we are on limited availability in terms of actually building it, but we have all the plans of what needs to be built, right? And there's a limited number of developers in this group, and the developers that do exist in this group all have a limited number of time and or are already building other things inside of the DNN ecosystem, whether it's the core or otherwise. And so we came up with the idea where I'm going to start generating videos for specific things, and this is going to be the first one where going to put out there like, hey, here's all the wireframes, and show it in the video, and we're looking for a developer to build this, and it's going to be open source. You know, you're going to obviously get attribution, so which the developers that exist in the ecosystem that are too shy to come to a meeting, you know, to join a meeting, you know, if you're willing to build this, let's build this, because there's a ton of people in the ecosystem that don't even know that the ecosystem groups exist necessarily, or they are afraid to come to a meeting, or don't feel like they have time to come to a meeting because it's during work, or what have you. You know, there's a lot of reasons for people to not be part of these groups, and so so there's no way for them to know that we need this, and we need your help as a developer. So this is going to be first of what may become a series of videos. We're like, hey, we need a user group program module. Here's all the plans. Build it. Or, and the one after that's going to be single sign-on, which I'm going to talk about a little bit in 2 more slides. You know, we have a need. You're a developer. Help us build it. So So I'm going to be creating content. So blog and video. Looking for help to build this. Wireframes and plans already finished. All right. So, yeah, so look forward to that. So definitely before the next meeting, but hopefully before the end of next week, you'll see that get pushed out there. So, and whenever you see us push out this stuff, you know, please retweet and repost and like and share to whatever degree you feel comfortable. It helps us out tremendously. All right. Does anybody else have any other information related to the user group program that you need to put out there? Alrighty. Community dashboard. So this is going. This does not have an update right now, unless you have something to tell me, Jay, that I'm not aware of.
No, this has been put on hold while I'm working on the other stuff.
Okay, sounds good.
It'll be ready by the time we need it.
Sounds good. Yeah, so well, for the rest of you that aren't aware, like most of the work's already done. There's just some final tidying up type stuff that that needs to be done, but it's somewhat dependent upon the .org website. So that's a great segue to this. So .com. So if you didn't notice, Tiho is now functioning as kind of a project manager for this. And so, Tiho, would you have an update for us?
Yeah, sure. Last couple of weeks, I've been trying to wrap my head around what we're actually aiming to do and what decisions has been made. Because a lot of decisions were in the history of several Slack channels. So on the Trello board, I created a separate category with the decisions, and I think one of the important decisions from last week is that we are not copying the current wiki from the .com site, because we feel that the docs and the new to be built question and answer module will cover those topics. Having said that, there are at the moment 2 pieces stopping us from the next big steps. One is that we are legally bound to have a single sign-on with the .com website, because we cannot just copy and paste the current users from the .com site to the org site. But I read that you will have a tremendous creative solution for that, perhaps, maybe?
Well, create a solution to find a solution. So that's related to my previous update with the user group program, pushing out there like, hey, we need this. please contribute this. Because right now the limited scope of people that are involved in this, there was only one person that really had something for this, but they haven't contributed it yet, and they haven't been responding to those inquiries about it. So we're opening it up to the general public and putting it out there because somebody has something that either they've done it before or they have the code for it, they have some sort of solution for it, and we just need to put the word out there to help it. And so for everybody that doesn't realize the importance of this, everything else that we can do with the community website is really dependent upon onboarding people to the community website. And because there's all this content that we plan to migrate, right? And it's not going to be all of the content, but it's going to be a great deal of it. But we need to be able to have a way for somebody in the .org website to say, I want to sign in, but I already have my account on the DNN software website. So yes, I agree to logging in here and creating a user account here. And, in some limited cases, maybe we have to decide how much of that gets translated. And then, it also has to associate whatever content that has been migrated to their account, right? So, yeah.
I see that John might have a solution, so after the meeting, I'll connect with him. So that will be awesome. For those listening but unfamiliar with the Trello board, Slack goes quite fast sometimes. But just in the chat box, I pasted the URL for the Trello, so you can have a sense of what's going on, and feel free to put your name on a card, just indicated that you're willing to help or contribute. And it would be awesome if you could say, well, the way I wish to help is either development or content migration or theming, stuff like that. So I really want to have people doing what they do best, because, for instance, for myself, I really wanted to build a new module, but I just lack the knowledge or skills. So just don't let me do that. So if you are willing and able, please let me know in the Trello cards. And if you have questions, feel free to ask me on Slack or whatever medium suits you best.
Yep. One of the questions from last time, Tiho, is whether we should have meetings, and I think it was agreed that we should have a regular meeting to help push forward people getting things done, but we never got one scheduled. Is that something that you want to kind of tackle now?
Sure. If people if it might help people, I'm more than willing to organize a meeting for that. No problem whatsoever.
Okay. So folks that want to be part of the meeting, feel free to chime in. There's already some folks that chimed in on that channel, but if you haven't already, join that channel in Slack and let Tiho know you want to be part of that meeting. All right. Excellent. Anything else for the .com and .org website initiative? Anybody? All righty. Our monthly goals, sounds like we've nailed it again. We are not good at our quarterly goals because not so many training courses getting released. And one of the things about the blogs and the videos that I sometimes harp on but sometimes forget is even if you feel like somebody's already done it, it doesn't mean you can't do it too, right? So like I just released a how-to on DNN docs. Don't feel like you can't do that. Like put out a video on there about DNN docs. Put out a blog post about DNN docs and how to update it. There's no such thing as too much content, right? So you have a unique perspective, a unique voice, and you might have some other things that you need to put out there that, or maybe your style's better for some people, right? So whatever the topic is, we can't have enough of it, right? And it gets new. Like, there might be already videos about specific setting in DNN, but the last time somebody did it was like DNN 7 or DNN 8, and now it's changed in DNN 9. So whether it's a blog or anything else, please help generate that content. All right. long-term goals. We're doing really good on time. So, this is just to remind us that we do need to generate content, and we do need to help push that content and make sure people are aware of it. So that's part of our job, is making sure we're sharing, we're liking, we're retweeting, we're, doing all those things that we need to do. And to some degree, like, maybe there's even commentary. Like, maybe somebody's generated a blog or video and you just want to talk about it. And so, that's another way you can approach some of this stuff. All right, open forum. So we always have the open forum and the closed open forum. So we'll start with the open forum that gets recorded. Does anybody have any additional topics they'd like to bring up for the group?
I do, please. Because I think tomorrow, or otherwise next weekend, I'm uploading a copy of a website that I created. And it's not really open source because I use DNN Sharp modules in it as well. But what I did last November is create a donation website and crowdfunding website for a charity fund in the Netherlands. I just deleted all entries, all personal data, stuff like that, and I'm letting the URL. Of course, it's Dutch, so for most of you, it's not really useful, but next month I will be working on the English version as well. But what it actually does is allow people to, or the website owner to mark a target. So they want to raise 50,000 euro, for instance, and it has a connection with a payment provider. In the Netherlands, we have Mali, that's quite popular. And after payment, the data will be stored in a table, and you can read how much money has been raised. And I think it would be a fun experience to see if it raises awareness and have people think whether DNN could be a nice platform for that charity.
So you're saying that people could potentially use this, either use the website, or are you trying to say that you have like a website template that people can use? I think I'm confused.
Yes, I understand you're confused. What I offer as a free download is a backup, basically.
Okay.
They have most institutions already have a web agency or IT provider. So if they are able to restore that backup, they have a website that's basically ready to go. On the URL that I just posted, gratis donatieplatform, which says a free donation platform, on the website is explained what steps need to be taken to make that copy their own. So they have to change the API to the payment provider. They have to change the password of the host user, stuff like that. If they just follow those steps, they are able to have their own crowdfunding website, not within minutes, but let's say a day or two. And that's it. I was inspired by an initiative done by Drupal about 5 years ago. There was a county in the Netherlands that said, well, we just paid about 100,000 euro to have our own website with some connection to Ideal, which is a payment connection to DigiD, which is in the Netherlands a way to log into all government websites. And they said, well, we already paid so much money, why don't we give all communities in the Netherlands a copy of this so they can just reuse it. Since then, Drupal has become the go-to web solution for any county in the Netherlands.
This is really cool, Tio. I love the idea.
I hope.
Nice.
And of course, there are a couple of commercial modules in it, but if they buy the free DNN Sharp modules, its form, its grid, and its tokens, it's cost of €450. I mean, if you don't have €450, then you have a whole other problem. So I think this could be something.
So Don just asked how I was translating those pages. So Google has this Chrome has this icon where I clicked on it and I said translate the page. And so every time the page, like I went to a new page after that, it just automatically uses Google Translate to just translate the page for me. So yeah, those little things, those little clicks that, you learn over time.
Yeah, and of course, I do mention on that website, well, you can choose any provider you want. I already have a subscription with DNN Sharp, so if you choose me, that will be free. But the larger goal is, of course, to have more people choosing DNN and more, it will benefit anyone in the community, especially when I've translated this website to English. Then it will open up possibilities outside the Netherlands as well.
Well, this kind of reminds me of when DNN first was released, like our early years is, when you installed DNN, you had the choice of choosing a website template because all those core modules were part of the install, and you were able to say, I want to do a blog site, I want to do a team site, I want to do, whatever. We had choices of different sites that we can just all of a sudden have a starting point and we can start editing things. And this is a step back towards that, which I think is a great thing. I think platform overall needs to go back there. But anyway, this is really, really good stuff. I love this, TM. Great job. Anybody else have anything else for the open forum? Or for TO?
This is Jeremy. I have a quick question about the DNN docs.
Cornelison, can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you, Jeremy. Somebody else is trying to talk to you, but...
all right, thanks. All right, so just on the DNN docs, all I was trying to do is I'm seeing a lot of documentation systems lately properly account for versions. And, like we had a lot of massive admin changes between version 8 and version 9. Is there any simple way that's already built in here or accounted for so that I can... I have some markdown that is very similar to what I'm seeing here for the V9 screens that is also done for V8, version 8 of DNN. And is there some standard way to get that in there so people can switch between versions, move up and down? Can we pre-account for version 10 someday? Or is that too complicated right now, given the GitHub thing?
Yeah, so this is Clint speaking. That is one of the features that we still have to build in, and so we definitely have that scenario in mind when we set out, on the project. And no, Clint is not going to build it, but the team is. So, Jeremy, what you're talking about version, we have the same toggle that's going to go into effect for language and also addition, right? Because, somebody could come looking for DNN platform, version 7 in Spanish or whatever. So you're right, it's currently not surfaced on the site, but we are planning on implementing that. And what I would suggest is to send the email to Kelly Ford and just let him know that you have that content and you would like to contribute it whenever the version toggle becomes live on the site.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right. This feature. All right. You like that, Clint?
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have anything else for the open forum?
This is John. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'll just say that I have not been aware of all the meetings happening in the ecosystem, and it's hard to have... It would be nice if there was one place where all the meeting dates and Slack channels and whatnot were listed. Slack's pretty easy to navigate, but it rolls off the screen, obviously, after weeks. So it'd be nice to have one central place for ecosystem folks to figure out where the meetings are, where the agendas are going to be, that kind of thing. The meeting today just showed up in my calendar, and that's lovely, but I wasn't sure when the meeting was otherwise. So for those of us who are less connected, it might be helpful.
You know, we used to have an events page on the .com site a long time ago, but that's had a lot of things going on, and that might be something that needs to be resurfaced in the .org, right? That's not a bad idea.
Or just an ecosystem page that sort of says, here's how to find out, how to get onboarded into each of the systems.
Well, there's already, on the DNN software website, there's already a place where each ecosystem group has a page. So if I go here, whenever the page finishes loading, there we go. I forget where it is. Where is it? Here it is. Advisory groups.
Oh, okay, fine.
But it doesn't talk about when the meetings are.
Yep.
But one of the things that the group should know is that I did update the awareness group page. Clint gave me editing access, so yay, thank you, Clint. So, you know, everybody who's currently part of the group is mentioned here. So thank you for being part of the group. We got that going for you. But I guess one thing that we can do is say that we meet, you know, what our schedule is that we meet.
Or get involved if you're interested in joining. I mean, there it is, the join, but yeah. Great,
yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, and that would definitely help with awareness. No wonder, can I update the top part? I don't remember. I know I can update the group members. We're about to find out. Maybe. Yes, I can. Okay. So that's not a bad idea for me to add some information about, like, the fact that we meet and when. All right. Cool. Good stuff, John. I like it. And then all right, anything else for the public open forum? Anybody? Oh, there's a comment. Let's see what that says. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you, Clint. All right, so we're going to end the recording portion of this. Thank you very much for everybody, for you attending, for you reading the blog post that results of this meeting, watching the video that results of this meeting, for any effort you're putting into the DNN community in general. We really, really appreciate it. Even the smallest contribution really matters. So thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see you at the next meeting. So we're going to stop the recording now, and see you next time.